Good afternoon, BBQ2U audience. This is Jennifer Noreen. I'm here with Gary Parker, the barbecue boss. How are you, Gary?
Hey, we're doing okay. How's everybody
Yeah.
out there in barbecue land?
Yeah, always good to see you. So today we're going to pick your brain about the story of how you got to do what you're doing today. So a lot of people know you're from Texas, but don't know how the heck you got from Texas to Seattle and Seattle area.
Right.
And why did you choose barbecue? So what would you say about that story? What's the most exciting part about that story?
The most exciting part of that story, the barbecue, of course.
Yeah.
So anyway, you want to know the story. So the story is, I was born in Central Texas in Austin, grew up doing what most Texans do, horsing around and
Mm-hmm.
barbecuing and doing these kinds of things out and having fun. Trivia fact that most people don't know about me is when I was a young boy, I was riding motocross a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
so we had a good time doing that as a late teen. Um,
Mm-hmm.
20. By the time I was in my 20s, I was married already. So, and which was good because Miss Parker's taken care of me for 40 years. Thank God somebody did. Um, so got my tech degree, worked in Houston for a while, doing installing phone systems and things like that. Back when phones first went digital, most people
Mm-hmm.
don't know that phones were analog in the beginning, right? And went
Mm-hmm.
digital back in the late '80s. Um, and so I was down there in the Houston Medical Center in downtown installing those things. Those things are kind of fun. Then came back. Um, Eventually got to work for IBM. Many people may remember the term IBM PC. It was right after the PC got developed. Um, we were working on those in the manufacturing plant, building them, marketing them, those kind of things. Became a design engineer there. IBM was the one who sent me to college, and became a design engineer long about 1997. Um, uh, uh, the management of IBM changed hands, and they closed the Austin facility. Um, Coincidentally, there's this little company you guys may have heard of called Intel, and they found out that a whole bunch of design engineers were available, and they needed some for a project they were doing. So they moved me up here to the Pacific Northwest, and I've been living in Gig Harbor ever since. So I worked for Intel for 20 plus years, retired 5 years ago officially, and
Mm-hmm.
started doing barbecue. Why did I start doing barbecue? Is because the entire time we've been up here, we haven't been able to find barbecue that we like. Uh, so we just decided to create it ourselves, right? And and so it's been a long, fun story. Oh, you look at those pictures, aren't those good? Um,
Yep.
I guess these are the random pictures I sent you. These are different events. Basically, what's happening with all these pictures you're going to show is when we got, like I said, when we first got up here, we couldn't find really any barbecue at all. Period. Yeah, some of the bigger chains were around, but not like the kind of barbecue we make, right? And so when I retired, so I started doing it on the side, while I was doing stuff for Intel, and I started doing stuff out of the driveway, and then as people found out I knew how to do it, I started doing events for people at different places. You'll see.
Mm-hmm.
And they,
Nice glasses in this one.
oh yeah, that's when I was still in denial about my eyes going bad.
Yeah,
But,
be able to see and also have the sun out of your eyes. I love it.
right. So yeah, and that's what you do when your eyes start to go. But anyway, yeah. So I went out, and Miss Parker is the one who named the company BBQ2U, because I was always going out doing barbecues to for people someplace with the trailer pit and that kind of thing. And so
Mm-hmm.
that was all good. We Because you can see I'm in different locations, but it's always the pit. It's always me, and you'll see some other people you might recognize in some of those pictures. Um, but we're just doing these events, and over time, we're working on the sauce recipes. We're working on how to do more and more and more all the time for bigger and bigger audiences. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's just a lot of time. I tell people that on my trailer pit alone, I've got an easy 20,000 hours on that pit, sitting and cooking. And that's a lot of time if you sit down and do the math on that, right?
It
Yeah, but
is.
that's over a lot of years and a lot of dedication, a lot of focus. Just learning stuff, learning little things as you go along, and you know, meeting other barbecue people, and we all talk and do those kinds of things. But that's what I was doing, and all this time I was still working, working Intel, doing my regular job, doing my regular gig. But what was happening is I was getting better at it. I was understanding more of it. I was learning more detail in it.
Mm-hmm.
Learning how to do it fast, do it right. Um, Feed people on time, all these kinds of things. What to take, what not to take. How to be efficient at all the things we were doing. Because by this time with this picture, we're cooking multiple meats simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
They're all different that have to all be managed separately, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then still be on time with all of it, right? So getting pretty good by this point. Um, it's just another event we were doing. I thought it was a cool picture, so I sent it along to you.
So you did personal barbecue for your family, but then you also started doing gigs and backyard gigs and selling your
Right.
catering services. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we just love it. It's built into who we are. You ask why we love it, but those of us who grew up in the South, we know all about building fires and cooking meat over fire. I mean, young men like me, we spent all our time out in the wilderness, on the lakes, on the doing stuff. We were out there all the time, right? We're always building fires. We're always cooking whatever we brought along with us, whatever we could afford over these things, right? And you just do. It's like something you do all the time. And like I said, with when you get older and in this kind of a scenario, you start to perfect it and optimize it for people, right, rather
Mm-hmm.
than just yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but that's what we do, and all these pictures just show different stages of that development process. But it's really more about the consistency of it, how long I've done it, how long, how much dedication it went into, because I could have been doing 1,000 other things all those years, right? But every week, every weekend was what are we barbecuing today, who we barbecuing for, myself, for people, for what's the game plan today.
Mm-hmm. And how many people would you serve at a time typically?
At these events, I was feeling good if I did 100. You know,
Mm-hmm.
in today's world, we usually in today's world with the store here, we usually max out about 400,
Oh,
right,
wow.
on
Mm-hmm.
any given event, right?
And was that in Texas and also once you got to Gig Harbor, or are these pictures all Texas?
This this is all Gig Harbor. This is all Gig Harbor and the surrounding area up here.
Ah,
Back home, if I wanted barbecue, I just go down to the store and get it, right? Because
yep,
there's one on every corner,
yep.
right? But when you're in the Northwest, you don't have that scenario, so you
Mhm.
make it all the time yourself.
Okay, so I was under the impression that you started BBQ2U, the catering in Texas, so that wasn't until
No,
you got here.
no, because we came up here in '97, December of
Mm-hmm.
'97, so
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea that I was going to end up doing barbecue at the end of my professional career. I just was doing
Mm-hmm.
it for me, right? That's how it
Mm-hmm.
started. And then
Yeah.
other people found it and they said, "Oh, that's good. Can you do 50 people? Can you do 75 people? Can you do this Intel offsite? Can you do this other party? Can you do my kid's graduation party?" Right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you're going to retire. Why don't you do a brick and mortar, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
the thing just built on itself really organically.
Mm-hmm. Wow, it's exciting. You chose something you love to do and you started doing it, made it a business. And I think a lot of people would be envious of you being able to do what you love and make a good living at it and stay involved in your community and help people at the same time. And there's a lot of good things there.
Yeah, we do a lot of that. A lot of people told me, "Oh, you got to be really careful, right? Because you're going to turn a hobby into a profession, and oh, that hardly ever works, right?"
Right.
I remember all those things, and I'm going,
Yep.
I'm just going to barbecue, and the philosophy still exists today here, right? I'll do barbecue as long as people are loving it, right?
Yep.
And if they stop loving it, then I'll go fishing, right? It
Well,
really doesn't matter to me, right?
it
But
seems to
I love
have worked.
the people. I love being a part of the community. I love doing things for the community, and I love serving this food option as an alternate to the Mexican, to the tacos, to the pizza kind of thing, right? And I think that's why a lot of folks enjoy us at least once a week, because it gives them a steady alternative, right? That
Yeah.
they can enjoy to the standard menu of nightly dinners, right?
Well, it's also a home cooked feel to it as well. It's home meals, and it's fresh, and it's good meats. It's things that people would love to be able to cook at home and don't want to take the time to do that.
Right.
Especially this time of year, moms are busy and they love running in and getting their kids
Yeah.
a bunch of food that's nutritious and will fill them up. So, of all the things that you prepare, was there something you always prepared? Was it brisket? What was it that was kind of the common denominator of all those events you did? Was there one?
I'd say it's brisket and ribs, pork ribs, kind of going back and forth between those two. Um, pulled pork actually for me came later when I was trying to find an inexpensive way to feed the masses.
Mm-hmm.
And because remember, I did this for tips. Like during my son's teenage years when we were on the race circuit with the BMW 30s, um, we didn't charge anybody. I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
licensed, so I couldn't charge anybody, right? So, but what I would do is I just put a tip jar out, and the better I cooked, the better the tips were, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
So you weren't charging per plate; you were charging for what people paid you for the food.
yeah. I mean, I would go buy it and I cook it, and if you liked it, put something in the jar, right?
Yeah.
That was exactly what I said. And many of the guys that may listen to this, they remember that, right? I never
Mm-hmm.
asked them for a thing, right? Yeah, they just did it on their own free will. But by the time my son grew up and we kind of got out of racing, the thing was completely net neutral because I'd make enough tips to pay for everything, and everybody had a good time. And I still get calls to come to the racetracks and stuff and say, hey, can you come do that again?
Wow,
These days,
super
maybe
fun. That's
I'll go on the circuit.
uh, oops, sorry about that. That's a great story to hear that you charged whatever people could afford, and then it eventually ended up being a business for you. But it was really just based on goodwill and friendship for a long
Yep,
time.
that's what
So
we do around the paddock and on those racetracks.
yeah. And so tell me about the racetrack. So that was a hobby that was probably expensive, and you're saying this barbecue
That's my
supplied the things you needed
It's my
for it.
son's hobby, and it all started when because we got friends that were in it. My son got into it with them,
Mm-hmm.
working on pit crews and stuff, and eventually he wanted his own car so he could run the races, and so we built that car, and then he wanted somebody to do it with, so then we got his best friend. And I funded building that car, and so then there were two BBQ2U cars on the track. Um, Someday I'll send you some pictures of those. And then they had a couple friends, and before you know it, we had four unique BBQ cars, running the E30 circuit, and we did that probably for 2 3 years easy.
So the brand would kind of sponsor the car, or you would just use the car to promote the brand, or
No,
both.
we had the logo as you see it today that was plastered across the hood of those four cars.
Wow,
And then
cool.
the guys, the kids got to do whatever they wanted to with the sides, but I always took the hood.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's fun. What color were the cars?
All black. So my
Neat.
son's was black with pink trim. Um, his buddy was black with yellow trim,
Mm-hmm.
and then we had a red trim. Oh, what a red trim. We had a green, a yellow, a pink, and a blue. Right?
We'll have to show people pictures of that.
Yeah.
That'd be fun to show for sure. Um, so that was up until when?
Oh, I don't know. That was probably up to 2014, 2015, something like that. And then my son, that what stopped it really was when my son grew up enough to have his own business, and we got to be focused more on how to get him in business, get him stable, and get it growing, right? So he could take it over. He was still pretty young at the time, so we got more focused on that than going out. And then I was traveling a lot in the end of my career, so I was hanging out over in India a lot. I lived for a few months down in Guadalajara, Mexico. So I wasn't around anymore like I was. And then when I came back, I was focused on retirement. So
Wow. So that ended a few years ago. I think we need to show people pictures of the cars next
yeah,
time. We should have included pictures of those cars. That sounds super fun. You have one on the wall in your store, though, right?
yep, yeah, we
Yeah.
have some over here, and then The best ones are at home, hanging on my victory wall.
Yeah, we'll have to show those next time we talk. So, anything else about your story? So you came from Texas on business to the Seattle area. You landed in Gig Harbor. You started BBQ2U catering and very informal friends and family catering, and then it just kind of grew to be what it is today.
What it is today. Yeah, I'm still barbecuing.
Yeah, you're still. Do you ever get in the kitchen and cook brisket these days?
Not much these days. The boys are so much more efficient than I am at it these days. And I still have me and my style that I'll do. I can still run the trailer pits and all that kind of stuff myself. But when it comes to the day to day in here, doing 20 briskets a day, I mean, we've already done probably 60 tons of meat in here this year so far. We'll end up somewhere around 100
tons. 60 tons.
All right.
Wow.
And so we're about 100-ton store, in a year's time, and between all 7 meats that we do. So, once the boys got it, right, the young men got it, and they're so much younger and they're so much stronger, and it doesn't hurt like it hurts me, right? So they move much faster, much more, and so it eventually got to the point was, Gary, you're in the way, right? And we got it from here. Go sit in your office and go do something creative, right? And so that's one of the reasons why I'm really not around a lot anymore. I'm out doing the business. I'm interfacing with the town. I'm doing charity things. I'm really focused a lot these days over on how to get out and be a part of the community.
Yeah, wow. So that's fun. So it's not as much sitting at your desk. It's out doing the catering and engaging the community. And I know you do a lot of philanthropy, which you don't always brag about. But what is going on with your philanthropy these days?
Well, in addition to the fundraisers, the counter takeovers for the schools are really in play. We just got done with Gig Harbor. I think it was Gig Harbor Key Club, and also the quilters had a week ready to do. They're getting ready on the 30th. We're getting ready to do we did Peninsula Key Club. Now we're getting ready to do Gig Harbor Key Club, and those things are always fun. We did the Gig Harbor volleyball team. That was a lot of fun. They brought it's so much fun. They bring everybody in. They were standing room only in this lobby, and everybody was buying barbecue and having such a great time. It felt like home again. So we do a lot of those kinds of things. We've upgraded. If you haven't been in the store lately, we've upgraded the authors area. And
I saw that. It looks super cool.
We got rid of all the tables and stuff and put up really nice shelves for them, and got a way now where you can walk back there when the authors aren't around and look at all the books, buy the books. You can buy them at the cash register, or you can buy them based off the QR codes that they have for them. But it's fun. We're kind of upgrading that a little bit. And so, those are probably the 2 primary things. We still do the senior movie, the free senior movie. We're doing that this Friday again. We're showing an oldie but a goodie for Thanksgiving for Halloween. Brooks Young Frankenstein. We brought it out of the archives for that. So that's been popular, and we just keep on keeping on, right? Looking for opportunities to do more.
Okay, so everyone always asks me, what are the details about going to the movie on Friday? They have to pick up a pass, right?
Yeah, they have to pick up
what time and where do they pick up a pass?
Usually 2 weeks before the movie's always on the last Friday of the month. Okay, last Friday of the month. Okay, so 2 weeks before that, I have the vouchers ready, right? And we have them here at BBQ2U. And we have a couple of key seniors. There's a lady by the name of Betty Lilienthal, and she comes and she has about 25 of them. There's another group over at Peninsula Retirement that has a few of them, and then the rest of them I keep here at the store. And people can come in and just ask for them, and the guys if I'm here, they'll send them to me. We just give you some, and it's first come first serve, and that's kind of the way it works.
Do you have any vouchers left for this movie coming up on Friday?
No, they're all gone, and so the next one will be November, and so about 2 weeks in front of the end of the right before. I'm trying to think of a creative way to say it so it's memorable, right? But usually it's the middle of the month when I have them, right? And so the movie for November is going to be another oldie, with Steve Martin and John Candy, and it's going to be Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Okay. So if you want to go to that one, you got to get a voucher by when?
Like I said, they'll become available middle of November.
Okay.
And so somewhere around that second week, probably into that second week, most likely. Haven't decided on the December movie yet. I'm torn. There's so many great Christmas movies. I don't know whether to go really old and do the Miracle on 34th Street, or do the you know all the different ones there, that age group, or we got some few modern ones, right? There's some funny ones, but or Scrooges or what. It's really hard. I can only pick one, and there's all these great movies, and so.
Oh yeah. What age group is welcome to attend the movies? What is this for, seniors only or?
Well, it's generally for the seniors, but young
Mhm.
people come too. And the way that works is usually a lot of times the seniors will use it as an opportunity to bring grandkids, and these kinds of things, right?
Mhm.
And then some of the seniors, well, they have their assistants and stuff that come with them, and so we're just generally putting it towards the seniors. I let the seniors kind of dictate what they want to do, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Very cool. So it's a service to the seniors in the community. Very nice. All right. Well, good to hear from you, Gary. Always good to hear what philanthropy you're doing. I knew there would be something for you to share. I think everyone needs to go to the store and check out the new authors area in the corner there for sure. It is pretty extensive now. It takes up that whole front area of the store. Lots of room for new authors and books. If there's an author in the community that wants to become involved in that table and being able to put their wares out, who do they contact? Do they
just
contact you
contact
or
me.
call?
Just
Okay.
contact me.
So call the store or email Gary at the 253-313-5656. And then is the bingo still happening as well on?
Oh yeah, Tuesday bingo for seniors. That's a hoot.
So
We had,
it's okay.
we had 28 in here yesterday, and it was so much fun. Um, and yeah, it's that one's really become super popular. I'm wondering how long it's going to be before I have to find a bigger location to do barbecue bingo, right, for the seniors, because that's really popular.
Yeah, they love it. And they love that environment of the store. It's so welcoming. So, yeah, it's fun. All right. Well, thank you. And we'll be talking again next month. We have a prize winner. The person that came the farthest to get barbecue at BBQ2U is Cedar Park, Texas. And we're
Yep.
going to be reaching out to them and hope we get them on video with us. If not, they'll be getting their prize. But it's amazing where people come from to get barbecue at BBQ2U. And thank you to all the very engaged social media followers. We try and keep up with all your comments on Facebook, and thank you for all your kind words. And it's always just so fun to see you be a part of the community. So, anyway, take care. Thanks, Gary.